Hey everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube Live presented to you from CompTIA. This month we are speaking to three amazing cybersecurity heroes, and tonight is the second installment of our three-part series. If you were unable to join us last week, we spoke to Juan Fernandez, and he shared his story of how he tipped off the FBI of a potential threat of copy machines exposing patient information. Like, who would have ever thought about that? And you can check out that full interview by clicking the link in the description. But today we're speaking with another amazing IT professional, Kira Hayes. So I'm your host. My name is Justin Valentine, and I manage our IT professional and student membership here at CompTIA. And I'm coming to you from just right outside of Chicago, Illinois, where our CompTIA headquarters is located. But now I want to have Kira introduce herself to you all. Kira?
Well, hello, everybody. Hello, Justin. I'm Kira, and I have to say it is quite an honor to be here. Appreciate you having me here on the show.
All right. Well, thank you. Now, before we dive into this actual, interview and me asking you a bunch of questions, I want to remind everybody listening that we will be announcing the second winner of our Securities Plus 601 bundle giveaway towards the end of today's broadcast. So please stick around to see if you're going to be that lucky winner. And for those who did not get a chance to submit an entry for today's giveaway, you still have one more shot to win next week. You can check out the description for more information. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and that notification bell to be notified whenever CompTIA drops a video. And also, our great CompTIA staff will be addressing questions in the comment section, so feel free to drop questions there. So, all right, I'm just going to get right into it. Kira, how did you get into security?
Well, let's rewind a little bit. I'll start with how I got into IT to begin with. So it all started when my mom gave me a Macintosh Performa 575. This thing was a beast. 12 megabytes of RAM, a 33 megahertz Motorola processor, and let me tell you, a quarter gigabyte hard drive. Those specs ran Oregon Trail like nobody's business. Let me tell you, it was great. It was fantastic. But jokes aside, that was my first foray into IT, and it was kind of interesting because I started first with coding, and I began starting with making web pages with a program called Page Spinner. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. I'm probably showing my age a bit, but this was back in the day of Netscape.
Okay.
But I got into it. I started developing my own troubleshooting methods because with coding you had a whole bunch of troubleshooting, debugging the programs. And I know for those tech people who are kind of cringing at the idea of me saying that HTML is programming, it's not. It's markup language. But I did do some programming on with something called Real Basic, and it just kind of caught my eye and my attention and my interest. I started preferring more of networking and hardware and software troubleshooting because I found programming to be a little frustrating, and in the end, it just wasn't for me. But when I got an upgrade to my lovely workstation, it was a Power Macintosh 7600, also from Apple.
Okay.
This system was having some problems. I'd never worked with a Power PC before, and again, it was made by Motorola, the processor. Those were good days. um, but one of the problems that I faced, the first problem I faced was the CD-ROM drive. Whenever I put a disk inside and it tried to load up, it would cause the whole system to lock up. So one of the things that my instructor, Lee McCorder, in Covered 6 taught us was know your stuff. Mm-hmm. Know the baseline for what you're working on. Because, if you don't know what it's supposed to look like, how are you going to know when something's wrong?
Right.
Well, I knew the baseline for what I had worked with prior to getting the system. Um, so I opened up, this was back in the day of Mac OS 9 and Mac OS 8. This was pre uh, Mac OS 10. Um, I had went into the extensions folder, and because I knew extension conflicts were a thing, and started looking at them one by one. And then one thing caught my eye, and it was the extension for the CD-ROM drive. And I was like, that's not supposed to be like that. That's not how I remember it. So I swapped it out for an older version, and immediately it started working. I did a reboot, loaded the extension up, put a disk in, no problem. And that was, being able to solve problems like that and developing an instinct for troubleshooting. That was what kind of brought me into IT. Fast forwarding a little bit, I got into the education of IT with Toll's Career Technical Center. It was a vocational center that I went to concurrently with high school. My first year in it, I did a hodgepodge of what have you, networking, programming, hardware troubleshooting, and graphic design. But then, your senior year, you got to specialize, and I specialized in networking.
Okay.
And one of the greatest joys I had was when my instructor, Rick Dorr, he basically took me to the back, pointed to this server rack with all this equipment on it, and he's like, "All right, since you're the only one that specialized in this, this is yours. You manage it. Have fun." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this?" And next thing I know, I've got like 6, 7, 8 desktops and servers just running on my desk. My desk was filled with equipment. Um, what got me into security was we had, one of the cool things about Toll's Career Technical Center is that you had the opportunity to put to use what you were learning um, by having customers come in and purchase services. Well, we had a customer that needed assistance with their laptop. They uh, forgot their password, and they were like, "Well, I don't want you to wipe it, so I want you to try and break it." So I'm sitting here going like, what? How do I do this? So I, did some research on the internet, of course, and found this handy little tool called OPH Crack.
Okay.
And it was a bootable Linux, not DVD, because that was a little bit too new for this day and age, or that day and age. But it was a CD that I could boot off of, and it would load up a cracker for the Windows hash tables. And this was back in the day of Windows XP with security. What was that back then? But it got me to thinking, because after I loaded that up, I had that guy's password in about 5 minutes.
Wow.
And we were able to log in with it, which got me thinking, how are we going to secure our data in the future?
Right.
So, with that, it just kind of stayed in the back of my mind. And when I went into the Navy, I had every intention to eventually become a cyber warfare officer. Unfortunately, that didn't work out the way I had hoped.
Right.
But, sometimes life has a way of, taking you different paths, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was my first, intro into security. And now I'm working. I did work for Covered 6. I was actually a student of Covered 6 first when I went to their Cybersecurity Academy, and that was where I got my A plus, Net plus, and Security plus certifications from CompTIA, because I got it through Covered 6.
Mhm.
And they were impressed with my knowledge and my expertise, and I was honored to have been offered a position with them as an assistant instructor and as a team member of their cybercrime impact team. And then as we all do, I moved on. And now I do work for Digital Uppercut, which is a managed security services provider, and we aim our services towards small business and medium-sized businesses.
So, well, since you've been working in security specifically, what have you found to be the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part uh, began when I was the assistant instructor for one of the classes through Covered 6. Being able to see students evolve and being able to see them take in that fire hose of knowledge that we were just throwing at them. Because, you know,
Right.
Security Plus from CompTIA is recommended that you have 2 years of security experience with your Network Plus certification.
Hmm.
In Network Plus certification, it's recommended that you have your A Plus and a year of networking experience. And A Plus recommends that you have 9 months to a year of experience with hardware and software troubleshooting. So right there, with those three certifications, that's 4 years of experience that you are recommended to have
Hmm.
in total. And it's no easy feat to do that in just the span of 5 weeks. um, Now, thankfully, I was one of the few people that had some experience, though it wasn't in the business world. It was with my own desire to learn. I
Right.
currently have three servers behind this lovely green screen I've got. But I've got three servers, running my network, and with those servers, I've learned just about as much as I need to have that experience necessary to get those exams and those certifications.
Speaking.
Seeing,
Oh, go ahead. Go. Sorry.
I
Go
was just
ahead.
gonna say, seeing those students, even come out with an A plus certification, or not even a certification, but seeing their test scores improve over time, that to me, that is just incredibly rewarding because it shows that they're learning, it shows that they're adapting, and that they're evolving into something greater. And when people see cybersecurity as a thing, they might think, oh, well, you're just protecting my money, or you're just protecting this company's data.
Right.
But we're not just doing that. There was an article I read the other day about a hospital in Germany that had been attacked. They had suffered a ransomware attack, and a patient died because they were unable to access their software to do patient intake, to do medication management. They weren't able to do anything. All their services were brought to a halt, to a crawl, and they had to turn a patient away, and that patient unfortunately died as a
Wow.
direct result of this ransomware attack. And when I saw that, I immediately realized that we have as technicians, we are, even if indirectly, still saving lives. And
Right.
that had such a big impact on me to realize that.
Wow. Well, given that, like, how does that relate to what you do now? Like, that was your passion and that was your drive to want to continue down that path of security. What are you actually doing? Like, what does your day to day look like for the company that you
Well,
work for now?
day to day, currently I have been tasked with coming up with a logging solution, or rather developing, not developing, I'm sorry, we're looking into a logging solution through a company called Humio. It's a I think it's a software as a service uh, logging management solution that lets you ingest a bunch of logs and a bunch of from a bunch of locations.
Mhm.
We've got various endpoint protections in place for our clients. There's different servers that we manage, and we want all of that information to be located in one place. We don't want to keep having to hunt it down. And there's also the firewalls that we use, different solutions that have different logs. We want our logs to be in one place. So that's what I've been doing for them of late, trying to figure out a solution for that. Um, because I'm still new, being trained and whatnot, I have been fielding tech support calls, just general tech support calls.
Okay.
But it's kind of cool to do that because now I'm actually handling customers being able to get some hands-on experience with what's
Right.
happening. You might have a printer that doesn't want to work right, or somebody can't get access to the server, or the VPN isn't working right like it's supposed to. And I create tickets, so that way they can be worked on. And then one of the things that often gets overlooked is documentation.
Yeah.
We're using IT Glue for documentation, centralizing all of our documentation for all of our clients. So I am assisting with bringing all of that in, because I came in at a time where we decided to just start using IT Glue, and so they're having me help them with moving that in. So on a day-to-day basis, I've been answering phone calls, fielding them for tech support, doing the Humio thing, trying to figure out Humio and how that works, and then of course helping with IT Glue. And then my responsibilities will expand as my time with the company uh, increases.
Right, 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 definitely. So you mentioned something about like having different certifications and a certain length of experience to go along with those certs. What certs do you have, and how have those certs helped you in your career, past and present?
Well, let's see. I have A plus, Network plus, and Security plus. Those are the only certifications I have.
Okay.
I did try to get my degree in cybersecurity with ECPI University at first, and then I transferred to National University. And unfortunately, due to some issues, some personal issues, I wasn't able to complete that. But I knew I still wanted to proceed. As we all know, there's more than one way to get to a goal. Um, you know, the pathways we take in life. Sometimes there's a fork in the road, and one path gets closed, and you have to take the other. And that happens. That's just how it is. That's how life is. So I sought out the way of certifications after the college route didn't work out. And I still have every intention to get my college degree. That's just been put on hold for the moment.
Right.
Um, I'm currently working on my CYSA Plus certification, and as you can see here, I have my amazing CYSA student guide. It's got some staining from Chipotle, spilled some Chipotle on it, but hey, that just means it's well loved and well
Right,
used.
right, right.
Um,
You're using it.
I'm using it, and exactly, I did the train the trainer with CompTIA for CYSA Plus, and I've got a voucher for an exam, and I can't wait to take it, but I'm not going to take it until I know for a fact that I'm ready to. Um, but at the same time, I also know that you don't want to psych yourself out, so that's
Right.
kind of an interesting balance.
Well, I'm sure you'll do well, and good luck to you when you go
Thank
to
you.
sit for that exam. So now, this is an interesting question, and I'm very interested in hearing your answer to this. So, and I'm sure the audience is as well. So, can you please tell me and tell the audience a time when you proactively identified a cyber threat and prevented a attack?
Well, I can't say for sure that I've prevented any attacks, but there was a cyber, or not cyber, but there was a gaming organization that I am a part of. I'm not going to release their name because A, they have asked me not to, and B, it would be a security risk for me to do so. We just don't want that target on our back. But I mean, it's true. You get all of that attention that people are like, let's test you. It happens. But the I had just become part of their security department, and believe it or not, we do have a security department because we are a fairly a decently sized organization,
Hmm.
uh, and we participate in many different games. Um, One of the things I had suggested was, hey, let's do a vulnerability assessment, figure out where our weak points in security are, because there's going to get to a point where you've only got two types of companies: those who have been hacked and those who are going to be hacked.
Right.
So I knew that at some point, this organization that I'm a part of was going to be attacked. It didn't matter when. I just wanted to see what areas of security needed to be looked at the most. And getting their permission, I ran some vulnerability assessments. I used what was it? One of the things I used was Kali Linux to run some scans on the server and the website. Um, I also was curious to see how security conscious are the people. So I did social engineering,
Wow.
and interestingly enough, I was able to socially engineer my way into having a role that I shouldn't have had on the Discord server within 5 minutes of interacting with
Wow.
the staff there. And it's not terrible. We're all people. We have an inherent desire to trust. Um, it is it's normal to want to trust somebody, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, that desire to trust gets taken advantage of. Um,
Absolutely.
so it was just one of the things that I was looking at and determining, okay, how far does that extend? How far can I take this? And once I had identified some vulnerabilities, I took it to our leadership, and we are in the process of developing training for our personnel within our organization to better our security.
Hmm. Okay. So what did you learn from that whole experience?
Well, I learned that our security wasn't the best, which
Other than
it's
that,
a gaming organization. I wouldn't
yeah.
expect it to be. I'm coming at this from an angle as a security officer, uh, saying, okay, we need to lock things down. But we're a security or sorry, we're a gaming organization, and the reality is that the worst that we're gonna have to worry about is somebody's gonna want to troll us.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the only thing to worry about when you consider, hey, we've got people's personal information, email addresses, you know, things that get said on our forums. So some people know each other, and so we might have phone numbers, names, addresses.
Right.
And while you might not think of that as something that's super important to protect, in reality it is. You've got what was it, the GDPR for Europe. You've got, I can't remember what it was called. I think it's the CPA for California.
Hmm.
Uh, and you've got various other privacy laws out there that require certain information to be protected.
Right. Right.
So when it comes to protecting that information, it falls on us to do that.
Hmm.
The management. So that was the biggest reason why I wanted to do this. The greatest thing I learned, I think, was don't don't get cocky. Don't think that you are unbreakable,
Right.
because nobody is unbreakable. Nobody's security is perfect. I promise you, it's not. And this is kind of a tangent, but I had an incident on my personal network not too long ago. I want to say maybe it was in the last year. Um, I have my own home lab. I set up my network like a corporate network because I want to learn. I want to utilize the education that I have, and I want to keep on learning.
Hmm.
Um, well, I was just usually doing my usual web surfing online, and anytime it was weird. Every time I would go to a website, it didn't matter what website, I would get a notice saying that there's unusual network traffic or network activity coming from your network. Do this CAPTCHA thing. And it was really strange because I had never encountered that before. And after a few days of this, I determined, okay, my network's been compromised. I think my network's become a botnet. And so what I did is I went through all my systems one by one. I even got to a point where I just said, screw it, I'm wiping everything. I'm wiping all the systems because I got backups. I don't care. I'll just wipe
Yeah.
the chain and just restore. Um, Still had the problem. And it was at that point that I realized they got into my modem. They compromised my modem, and at that point there was nothing I could do except call the ISP up and be like, hey, I need a new modem, it's been compromised,
Right.
come as soon as possible, please. And they replaced it, and like that the issue went away. But it goes to show you that you're not impenetrable. You are not invulnerable. It doesn't matter who you are, whether it be the government. Actually, the government is probably hacked 1,000 times a day, to be honest with you. But it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the government or a private organization or a private person. It doesn't matter. You're going to get hacked.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, last question I have for you. What advice would you have for someone who is considering a career in cybersecurity?
Patience, passion, and perseverance. It's certainly not an easy field to get into, but it is a rewarding field. I'm not kidding when I say you could save lives. You know, what happens if somebody gets into, the 911 system and brings it down? Now you
Right,
can't have people calling for emergency services, and people are dying because they can't get healthcare services to their door. They can't get brought to the hospital. Somebody attacks a hospital. Well, I read an article where that happened, and a patient died as a direct result of that. And then, of course, that you're protecting money too. You're protecting, you know, information, whether it be for the government or for a corporation. It doesn't matter what it is, but you are doing something that is going to be so. It's going to be so important because it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're somebody doing business like Apple, whether you're the government trying to defend and guard secrets for national security, or if you're a hospital trying to give healthcare to people and save lives.
right.
As a security technician, you are doing something important. So I would say my advice is don't give up on it. Pursue it with all your heart because that sort of passion is required for this field.
Yeah, definitely. And you sharing with us your stories, this is pretty amazing and definitely some sound advice to walk away with. So thank you so much for having the conversation with me, sharing your experiences and your stories. And now we want to have you announce who that bundle winner will be for tonight. So, Kira, I'm going to ask you to announce the name of that special winner for tonight's security bundles giveaway.
Alrighty, so our winner is Ian Benedict. Congratulations, Ian. I hope
Yes,
you make great
congratulations.
use of that security bundle, and I promise you it will be very helpful for your future.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Ian. And remember, everyone, we are giving away one more Security Plus bundle. So check out the link in the description to enter to win. And again, this bundle is for the new Security Plus 601 exam. And it includes 12 months of Cert Master Learn, 12 months of Cert Master Labs, an exam voucher, and a retake voucher, just in case one is needed. Um, so definitely check out the link to find out information on that. And if you haven't yet joined us on Discord, we invite you to continue the conversation there. We have study groups for CompTIA certifications, as well as groups for career advice and just general tech discussions. We'd also like to invite everyone to become members of our new CompTIA rewards program. Share the CompTIA love and get rewarded for it. For every friend that you refer to the CompTIA store, you'll earn a $25 gift card. And reward members get advance notice for discounts and promotions from CompTIA. So again, check out the link in the description to sign up. And we have some more exciting news. For those of you who are not aware, the new CompTIA Security Plus 601 exam just launched today. So vouchers and training products are now available for this certification on the CompTIA store.
That's awesome.
And to learn everything there is to know about this new exam, you can join CompTIA's very own Jen Blackwell, Patrick Lane, and Kelly Stone this upcoming Tuesday, November 17th at 12 p.m. Central Time on LinkedIn Live. So if you're not following us on LinkedIn, please hit the link in the description to do so. And again, we'll be announcing one more winner next week during our last Cybersecurity Hero Live broadcast. So again, thank you all for listening today. Special thanks to our hero, our guest, Kira Hayes. So thank you for
Not a
sharing.
problem.
And remember, there will be one last live next Thursday. So be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell just to be reminded when we got new content for you. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kira. We've had a wonderful time talking to you tonight.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. It was an honor to be here.
Yes, thank you. And thank you all.